Hi, I'm Bob Kraus, and I'm here to pull the plug on Grassley. I'm running for the United States Senate, and I'd like your support. I'm really pleased that you've come here to the district convention today because you are an important piece of our strategy to win in November. You are the foot soldiers, you are the leaders, you are the people that get the vote out and spread our message to the field. And I would like to personally ask you that when you leave this convention, that you go around to your friends, your neighbors, your fellow Democrats, the independents you see, the people down at the bank, and the people at the grocery store. Wear your buttons, talk to these people. Tell them about our message as Democrats, tell them about our message about our president, our governor, and tell them about the United States Senate candidates that we have and how we will win the Senate in 2010. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a farm boy. I was born and raised in northwest Iowa and attended University of Iowa for my college, and I became active in politics down there, worked for Bob Fulton when he ran for governor, worked for the Democratic Party, and decided to run for election back in my home territory. And I did. I won my primary election approximately 3 days after I was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army Reserve. And I was sworn in as a state representative before my 23rd birthday. When I was in, I was first selected as an assistant minority whip by our party, and I helped fight the battle for collective bargaining for public employees, which was one of the great battles of that time. We fought on the floor of the Iowa House for 6 weeks against Terry Branstad and the Republican Party and those people that were opposed to collective bargaining for public employees. The Farm Bureau in my area was very strong against collective bargaining for public employees, and they brought down nearly 200 members who hotboxed me on the rotunda of the state capitol, and their leader shook his finger in my face and said they were going to beat me the next election. Well, I thank them very much for their time. I went in and I continued to count votes for collective bargaining for public employees. And guess what? We won the next election by 6 points more than we did the time before. People will respect you if you say what you believe and believe what you say. If you work hard, you can overcome the obstacles even in rural areas such as I represented, and you can proudly wave the banner of the Democratic Party and what we stand for. After that election, I became chair of the Transportation Committee in the House of Representatives, and after 4 years in that institution, was named as one of the 10 most effective legislators by the Des Moines Register. I ran for Treasurer of State the next year and lost, and then became a member of the Carter administration under President Jimmy Carter, and was regional head of the Department of Transportation for the Midwest. There I was in charge of very difficult railroad bankruptcy. The Rock Island and the Milwaukee railroads had gone down, and we worked out a plan to create a 95% service to those businesses that depended on those two railroads when they were liquidated. So we worked hard, we got something accomplished, and we were very proud of it. After that, I became a think tank director at the Council of State Governments. It's a national association of state governments, and I ran the Center for Transportation, which did safety studies and public transit studies throughout the nation. Wrote several books, and some of the recommendations that came from those books are now in federal law. So but I wanted to come back to Iowa. Eventually I did, and I spent 20 years in state government before leaving in 2008, and then I did international consulting, and now I'm running for the United States Senate. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the things that I think are important for you to know about me when you're voting. You need to remember that because of my background, my strong union background, I came out foursquare for jobs and against the North American Free Trade Agreement. I think it's a disaster for Iowa that we are losing the jobs we are, at the pace we are in manufacturing especially. It was no secret that Maytag went down, not because they had a bad product, but that they were, their cost structure was not good. They had all-American plants. Whirlpool, that was their main competitor, had international plants. We have Electrolux in Webster City, just sent some 850 jobs to Mexico. Lake Mills, there's a Cummins plant up there that is sending 400 jobs to Mexico. And this is just an example of something that's been going on for several years. Nationally, about 300,000 jobs a month are being outsourced. And it's been estimated that 25% of all existing American jobs over the next decade could be outsourced. We need to do something about this. And I plan to introduce legislation and work to change NAFTA significantly so that we can bring jobs home from, to America. And I plan to do the same thing with the World Trade Organization agreements that we have with China and other countries where we are sending jobs and causing ourselves problems in the areas of national security and problems in the areas of environment because of this outsourcing. Another area that's very important to me is Afghanistan. I think we need to get out of Afghanistan, and we need to get out of it now. It's $172 billion a year that is spent over in Afghanistan, and it doesn't help our defense at all. In fact, it appears to be making our national defense more difficult. If we had $172 billion, what could we do with it? Well, one, we could preserve some of those teaching jobs that are going away throughout Iowa, both this year and in FY11, because we don't have the money. That's what a stimulus package could do. It could help us build infrastructure, and we can do that instead of spending that money in Afghanistan. So a stimulus package with no additional cost to taxpayers. That's what we need. We need to look at education. We need to look at maintaining the teachers that we have for our children. We need to look at the middle class and what we're doing to the middle class. And most importantly, we need to do something for our veterans. It's been very sad that my opponent, Senator Charles Grassley, had a 62% negative voting record on veterans' health care issues, according to the Disabled American Veterans. In fact, what he did is he introduced legislation to ban the burning of the American flag, and then at the same time he banned the burning of the American flag, he burned the American veterans that put that flag up the flagpole for him. That is just not right. It's one of the reasons I decided to run. We need to have better veterans health care, and as a former chair of the Iowa Democratic Veterans Caucus, I've worked at improving veterans health care for many years. Those are just a few of the things I'd like to talk to you about. I wish I could talk more, but I know you have a lot of business to attend to today, so thank you very much for your time. I would like to ask for your support. Please vote for me on June the 8th. And if you have any questions, check my website at www.krausforiowa.com, and I look forward to being your next United States Senator after we pull the plug on Charles Grassley. Thank you very much.